In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make the perfect spawner stash for DonutSMP. How it works is you will have your skeleton spawners, which are going to be right here. You can drop your bones. Then what will happen? You will get shulker chests full of bone blocks, which will come out in this chest. And the empty shulker chest you just put in back here. And that's how it works. It's not just your spawner stash, by the way. It is also a good money making method if you just buy bones of orders and just drop them in. And then afterwards you just sell your bone blocks on orders. Then you will make a decent amount of profit. It's actually a really good money making method, even if you don't have enough spawners to actually have a good spawner base. Yeah, this will definitely make you a lot of money. So yeah, go ahead and build it. I will show you the tutorial how to build it, and I will also upload the schematic to my Discord server. So if you're looking for a schematic, make sure to join my Discord. And other than that, enjoy the tutorial. Alright, let's get right into the tutorial. What's really important is when you start, you want to have at least 2 blocks below you. So yeah, don't build on bedrock level, just build on Y level minus 55 or something. So yeah, you still have got some space to work with. But to start off, you want to have 2 blocks like this. Then yeah, add 1 block right there, 2 blocks right there. Pretty simple so far, I would say. Nothing that complex to it. And yeah, then we want to build out 32 chunks, 32 blocks in one direction. From this point on, we want to build 32 blocks in each direction. So this is going to be our first block. Then this is our second. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Alright, that will be 32. Then you can connect it to the other side, because this is going to be one half, this is going to be the other half. We've got 2 blocks of space in middle. So yeah, just connect it to the other side. Boop, boop, boop. And yeah, that's the bottom almost being done. And now we gotta add in some layers for redstone to make the crafter's double tick actually. Alright, for that, let's move over to the other side, over here where we didn't build first. And leave 1 space here, and then add 2 blocks right here. Then we leave 2 gaps, add another 2 blocks. Leave 2 gaps, add another 2 blocks. And yeah, just keep going like this until you're almost at the end. You don't need to make it all the way through, but yeah, why we do this will make sense later on. So yeah, the last 3 blocks we don't have to do, because yeah, there's not going to be any crafters there that we need to power. Then we just copy the same thing on the other side. You can just mirror whatever you did over there. Alright, now let's add on some redstone. You can just drag it all the way along above almost all the blocks that we had, because yeah, over here we don't need any, but on all the every other block we need a redstone piece. Pretty simple, can't really mess it up. Even if you put redstone here, it's not gonna mess up the farm, so don't even worry about it. Just place a redstone on every single block. Alright, with that being done, let's get some observers. And yeah, now it's gonna be a little bit annoying to survival. You just are gonna have to stack up like this, and that's gonna be temporary. And then what we're gonna do is place all our observers above the redstone. You don't have to do it everywhere, you can just do it starting off like 1 block of this basically. So just have 2 blocks of space here and start placing observers everywhere. And yeah, when you fall down in survival, it's gonna be a bit annoying. Obviously, you know, you're gonna probably have ender pearls and donuts, so yeah, don't even worry about that. Just pearl on the roof, take some fall damage, and you're back at it. And yeah, just place all observers everywhere. And we're also gonna place 1 observer on the tip of the redstone here. It doesn't really matter which angle your observer has, by the way. You can just place it however you want it. It's just important that you place it from the top. That's all you have to, yeah, make sure to do. And yeah, copy that for both sides again. Always like starting off with the row first. Makes it a bit more easy. Alright, now the tips again. You don't even need to shift. I'm always used to shifting when building with redstone, because I don't know, I don't want to right click a hopper or something like that. So yeah, and then we're gonna have 1 more crafter over here, which means we're gonna have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. So you can, I mean, it doesn't hurt anyone if you place 1 here, but if you place another observer here, it's kind of gonna be useless. So yeah, and now what you need to get is node blocks. That's very important, and redstone lamps. And we're gonna want to place them, like every other block has to be a different one. So always make node block, redstone lamp, node block, redstone lamp, and so on. It's, yeah, pretty simple. I know these blocks can be a little bit expensive on Donut, but I think you'll be fine. But it's really important that you don't just use one of the blocks, because yeah, one of them transfers redstone faster and the other one a bit slower, so we definitely want to make sure we use that advantage. The reason why we're doing this, by the way, is so our crafters on top can be double ticked. That means the redstone clock is not just going to be, yeah, clocking, like hitting once per tick, but it's hitting twice per tick. Because, yeah, when the redstone gets activated once, the crafters will be activated twice. Because of a redstone, once by the redstone lamp and once by the, yeah, node block. Alright, now we need to do the tips. The tips is really important. When there's like a node block, you want to use a redstone lamp. And when there's a redstone lamp, you want to use a node block. Just make sure that there's not two node blocks or two redstone lamps next to each other. I mean, it's pretty simple, but yeah, if you have any questions, you can join my Discord and just ask for help there. I'll be happy to help you. Alright, that is done now. From the top it should look something like this. It looks a little bit unsymmetrical because technically we could have made it symmetrical, but it's just not that useful. Like when we build like this, it's, yeah, as efficient as it can be because the water doesn't flow further than it has to be. Alright, on top of these we have to build one last observer, and yeah, then everything below our crafters should be done. Alright, that is done, and now we can move on to the crafting part. Alright, and now we can get some ice, so it's gonna be easier to build the crafters. I just made the crafters, but I realized on Donut it's probably better to have some temporary blocks in the middle. That's gonna help a lot. Alright, ice is done. And now we're going to the crafting part. We're first going to place all the crafters that are going to craft bone meal to bone blocks. Which means place crafters wherever we have like one tile on the outside here. Which is here. Oh, don't place it like this. You have to make sure it's facing towards the middle. And the two like red lamps are on the outside towards this pile of observer. Yeah. Just keep doing that where all the piles are. And yeah, it should be good. Alright, now all the bone block crafters are done. And now we get to the more annoying part, because now we will have to make the crafters that craft bones to bone meal, so that these can craft bone blocks. And you have to make them all face into this crafter. Which, yeah, means... oh, you actually have to place a temporary block on this one. Otherwise it doesn't really work. And boom. As you can see, all redstone lamps have to be on the outside, so that, yeah, whenever the crafters get activated, it's gonna instantly put the bone meal into this crafter. And what's really important on the outside crafters is you have to tick, like disable 8 of those slots. If you don't do that, yeah, it's just not gonna work. Actually, it's not gonna like ruin the farm if you don't forget that, but it's gonna slow the farm down a lot. And if you don't tick any of the crafters, well, the farm is just not gonna work because it will be just 9 stacks of bombs in there and nothing's gonna happen. But yeah, keep doing that to all the crafters. Make sure the redstone lamps are going to be on the outside. You have to have a temporary block for the outside one, but I think that's fine. And yeah, I think it's the easiest if we just place every crafter facing in one direction, like this. So yeah, right now I'm just placing everything that's left of the crafter. So just so we don't have to change our direction so often. Like this. Alright, now let's do the other way. This one's actually more simple because you can just place blocks against the crafters. But yeah, always double check that you place them correctly. Make sure that this crafter has no light against it. If you see a light, oh, that was actually correct. If you see a light next to this crafter that's looking in the middle, it's wrong. Then you have to replace it and put the light to the other side. Alright, now we just need to do the outside crafters. Alright, all the crafters are placed, but yeah, now if you didn't do it already, make sure all of them have 8 disabled slots and only 1 enabled slot. What's important is this one crafter facing the middle is not supposed to be ticked, because that is supposed to be making bone blocks. So yeah, if you tick that, that's gonna break the farm and make white dye. So yeah, don't put any disabled slots on this one, just in the ones we just placed on the outside. It also doesn't matter which slot you leave enabled. All that matters is 8 slots disabled and 1 slot enabled. Alright, now that we've made all the crafters, that's probably the most annoying part of the farm, to be honest. I mean, of the spawner base. But yeah, make sure to double check them, so because if there's a mistake, that can mess up your farm pretty badly, because you want to be crafting random stuff, and then your Shulker loaders that we will be building in a bit are gonna be, yeah, messed up and not really work as you want them to. Alright, now let's make the water flow. We're gonna have to start over here. I guess I'll be just using glass to fill up the gaps here, because that's, well, that was not my hotbar. And then we're gonna use ice as the water. That's the easiest way to build on DonutSMP, because you don't have to carry water buckets and keep refilling them. So yeah, just place some ice here, break it. Actually, for my tutorial, I'm using water, because in creative I can use it infinite anyways. And yeah, as we can see, the water stops, so we need to use some signs. I like signs because you can't mess up with them. You can also use fence gates, anything that water doesn't flow through, but that items flow through basically. And what's important is don't place your signs in here, because that's the crafter that the bone blocks will come out. Always place your signs at one of these crafters. That is really, really important. And yeah, then we just keep going like this. Place our signs here again. We don't actually, on this one we don't even need signs on this one technically, because the water stops on its own, but I mean, it can't really hurt to have some signs here, so let's just place them. Just to be safe. And we're right here, placing more signs. And that's the output of our water storage, of our water flow, where we will just use more ice. Don't right click those things. And some bones. So yeah, all our bone blocks will be flowing over here. And that's where we're going to be making the crafters in the end. Now we have to move on to the hopper and chest part, which is also a little bit annoying, because I like making a pretty big storage, because obviously the crafters, they're fast, they're pretty fast, but they're not as fast as you're able to drop bones. That's why you want to have a decently sized bone storage on top of the crafters. So yeah, you're not going to be in trouble with, your chest being filled really fast and your bones are just going to flow and not go into the hoppers as fast as you want them to. And you're just hitting entity limit. I know the problem and it's pretty annoying. So we'll make a probably 2.5 million bone storage on top. It's optional, you don't have to do it. You can just use less chest or even more chest if you want to, because this farm alone can also be a money making method without spawners, because you can just order bones, throw them in here and sell the bone blocks. Usually they go for a better price. That's also how I made some money by just flipping bones to bone blocks. Alright, now to the hopper part. We want to place hoppers on top of all the outside crafters, which means all the crafters that are going to be crafting bones to bone meal and putting it into this one. And yeah, the hopper on top of this is going to go into this hopper. That's really important, because we don't want any bones going into this crafter. That would be kind of bad. So yeah, just copy what I'm doing here. And yeah, try not to mess it up, because one placed hopper can, again, not mess up the entire farm, but mess up, yeah, one of the crafters, which you definitely don't want. Alright, because we don't want to have a really huge bone storage, we just want to have it wide. We'll be placing some more hoppers, which, yeah, we're gonna just do like this. In your world, you can just place the first few hoppers by like bridging out like this, and then just adding them in like this. Pretty simple, not much to it. If you misplace one hopper, it's not even that big of a deal. The bones are just gonna go into a different crafter, but it's the best if you just make them all straight to the middle. Alright, the hoppers are now done, so let's start making all the chests. We're gonna have 2 double chests per layer, which basically means I'm just gonna make it like I would build it on DonutSMP. Just make the inside chest first. On there I will just use the Swift stick pans and just walk around like this, placing them all down. Actually, it's probably easier if you just make it like this, to be honest. Doesn't matter which way they're facing. All that matters is that they're gonna be double chests. After you, place a secondary chest next to them. And yeah, we'll make that, and then we make the same thing on the on the other hopper. And yeah, what I'm making here right now is just what we're gonna be making everywhere around the entire farm, basically. Alright, now we're gonna keep expanding our bone storage. I'll make a pretty big bone storage, just so you can, not just use your spawners, but you can also just use... Actually, I think I'll make it too high bone storage, because it's, that's basically all you will need if you just use it for spawners. If you want to use it for orders as well, which would be totally understandable, because it's pretty useful to make some money with that. You can always just expand it, build it higher, and just copy exactly what we just did, basically. Alright, then the inside hoppers are done. Now we go for the outside hoppers. It's important that all the hoppers are facing into the chest, not somewhere else. And after that, we will just add one more layer of chests and one more hopper layer. And then we're basically done with the crafter part, except for the water flow obviously, but that's not that big of a deal. It should be done pretty fast. Because obviously this is not really difficult, placing the chest, but it can be pretty annoying because it's gonna take some time. Alright, the bone storage we're making right now, by the way, will have about 1.7 million bones of storage, so you should be fine up to like 800 spawners. If you use like 1,000 skellies and maybe also throw some bones from orders in, you might want to add some more bone storage, but I think most of you will be fine with the storage I'm building right now. Now we just add in the hoppers. Like that's gonna be our last hoppers that we need, because the water flow will be on top of those hoppers. And I like to have it like this, where we have like bones going into 2 hoppers at the same time. You will see what I mean in a bit, because then whenever you drop bones, the entity limit is gonna be reached way later than when you just have 1 hopper that always takes the bones. Alright, let's first use some glass to make the borders for our water flow. Oop. Basically just place glass all around those hoppers. Alright, looks good. Now we need to connect these hoppers with some ice. You can use any blocks technically, but ice is the best because items flow a bit faster on ice. You can just use compressed ice, blue ice, whatever ice you can find. It's all gonna work. Alright, and now we add some glass to the outside. Just to make sure we are not gonna mess up there. No water is flowing out with our bones in. Alright, that is done. And let's start making the water loop. What's important is you can now add in your spawners, your spawner section over here, because this right here is where we're gonna have our spawners. Let me just build that real quick. I recommend doing it like this, where you have like 2 ice gap like this, and then just add in your glass over here. Oop. Just like that. What's now important is you can just go to /shop, buy some ender chests, and place them all on the edges. That is so the bones are all gonna go into both hoppers at the same time. You can make this with iron fences, you can make it with a lot of stuff, but I just figured I'll just use some ender chests because we could just buy them off the shop and they're not too expensive. You're gonna need like, I don't know, 1.5 stacks of ender chests, which I think is fine. Alright, that is now done. Now we can use our signs again. I'm just gonna use fence gates because it's easier for the video. You can, like I said, use anything. I think most of you have built a water flow before, so don't think it should be that big of a deal. And yeah, from here on out, we just are gonna start making the water loop all around the hoppers. Again, pretty simple. Like I said, I recommend using signs because, oh, we actually forgot some ender chests. You also want ender chests here. So these hoppers are also gonna be double loading. That is pretty important. And here we're just gonna put one fence gate here. Oh yeah, you don't want to place it like this. Just place the hopper down here. Not sure if this is even a bad thing, but there's no reason to find out if it's bad or not. Let's just do it like I know it works. Like this. Alright. Yep, that looks cool. And now I think the thing is basically done. I would now use my skeleton spawners, put them right here, make a little glass wall around them. That makes them look pretty cool. And you can just drop your skeleton spawners here. Drop the bones from your skeleton spawners here. And what's gonna be coming out down here is gonna be bone blocks. Actually, not yet, because we still need our clock. Kind of forgot about that. Alright, let's make our clock. For that, we have to dig down a little bit. That's why I said, yeah, don't place it on bedrock. Don't build it on bedrock level. Build it a little bit higher, so you got some space down here. Then we'll just make the clock somewhere in the middle. Let's actually make it exactly in the middle, because why not? We made it. This is 32 blocks long, so we just make it 1, 2. Alright, this is the 16th block. So let's just make our clock right here. The clock is also really important that you don't mess it up, obviously. For that we need a lever. We need a comparator. We need obviously some redstone. And we need some repeaters. We need one lever, one comparator, 2 repeaters, and some redstone. And you're gonna need one more repeater, yeah, later on when we're going up here. Alright, so we go like this. Then, well, you could just use any building block you want. Since I'm using quartz in the tutorial, I'll just use more quartz here. Build this a little bit to the side. I hope I wasn't too fast with the clock, but I'll just rebuild it slower so everyone can follow. Just make the lever, that's pretty important. Then build the comparator, tick it once, then build the repeaters like this, and put one redstone right here. Then the clock is done. Actually, it's not done yet. You need to tick it once. That's really important. If you don't tick it once, the clock is too fast for DonutSMP, and yeah, the farm is just gonna be messed up and not work. Then we make our repeaters. You can make this as long as you want. You just have to make it long enough so the redstone signal can reach the end over here, which I think with this, we should be able to reach it. And why did I remove my redstone? Alright, so let's go like this. Do that on both sides. And as soon as we activate the clock, you should see everything is getting powered within a tick. Just check on the edges that all the redstone is gonna be getting ticked. Because sometimes the redstone signal is only 15 blocks long, so starting from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, which means if this would have been 2 blocks further to the back, one of the redstones wouldn't have worked. Like this one in the back here. But yeah, this is good enough for our tutorial. So yeah, have the clock right here, or about in the middle. Doesn't have to be the exact middle, to be honest. Just make it go out 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Make it go up, 1 redstone. Then the repeater into any full block. You can just use your blocks if you want to design it a bit nicer. Doesn't really matter. And yeah, this is gonna be the clock that powers the redstone. And if we now throw some bones in here, it's gonna craft bones and they're gonna come out here on the bottom. So yeah, as you can see, I threw a little bit of bones. Oh, one really important thing that I forgot actually. One really important thing is glass. You have to put glass on top of here. Otherwise, the bone blocks will just fly around and get stuck on top of these hoppers. You don't have to make it glass, but I just like using glass for this because you can see through, making things a lot easier. Alright, then we just, well, on Donut I would just throw a pearl out. And yeah, maybe don't do that. It's not the best idea. Just block everything off so the bone blocks can all go into the water flow without an issue. If that happens, not that big of a deal, we can just fix it. Oh, okay. That should be good. Alright, but yeah, as you can see, since I threw some bones in, the crafters are, this crafter is crafting bones into bone meal. And since we have got 3 crafters that craft bones to bone meal, it's just fast enough to fill up this crafter, which crafts bone blocks. On DonutSMP, it's going to be way faster because, yeah, the hopper tick speed is so much faster. It's just crazy. But alright, with the spawner, like with the crafter now being done, let's move on to the Shulker loaders, where we're going to load all of our bone blocks. For that, we just start making water flow here. Let's just turn off this farm real quick, so it's not going to be annoying. Yeah, we don't really need those. At least not in single player. Alright, let's make it like this, so we can have a water flow going into our Shulker loaders right here. Let's not make the water flow yet, because, yeah, it's just going to be in the way. We want to use ice as long as we don't use any hoppers. Alright, I think this should be good. You don't really have to worry about entity limit, because, yeah, it will be fine. Technically, 1 Shulker loader is enough, by the way, but I like playing it the safe way, just building like 2 Shulker loaders, maybe 4 Shulker loaders even, because sometimes one of them breaks and then your bone blocks will just, yeah, not be taken in. Alright, let's get to our Shulker loaders. The Shulker loaders are going to be 7 blocks high, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have to go 2 down as well. I recommend just digging out a decently sized space right here, just, yeah, so it's not going to be a big issue and you can just build your Shulker loaders without any trouble. Obviously, you don't have to make my Shulker loaders, you can just make whichever Shulker loader you are used to building, and that's gonna make things probably a little bit easier for you. So yeah, let's just build my Shulker loaders for this one. Just gonna make them right here. This is gonna be the first Shulker loader, then this is gonna be the second Shulker loader. I'm just gonna make 2 for the tutorial, because yeah, whenever you make multiple Shulker loaders, it's just gonna repeat the process. And by the way, I do have some Shulker loaders that I made myself as well, but I'm not using them for this one because it's not necessary, because I only use them for a sea pickle farm that we built. And the Shulker loaders are actually good enough to hold 128 sea pickle modules if you build it correctly, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Okay, so now we want all our things for the Shulker loader. We want droppers, we want dispensers, we want observers. Then we want, what else do we want? Hoppers and chests, pretty important. Not just important, it's mandatory. Then we need a sticky piston. We need a redstone block and normal redstone. And we need a comparator. I think that should be good. So yeah, let's make our output dropper. You can basically make that anywhere you want. I'll just make it a little bit to the back here, because that's where I want to be making... Let's just use the observer here. This is just a building block, don't worry. Because, yeah, this is the spot where we will be dropping our bones in. So we want the output to go up into a storage right here, where we can just get it from our skeleton spawners. So, yeah, let's just make our dropper right here. Doesn't have to be there, like I said. Actually, this could be a little bit of a problem with the redstone block, to be fair. Let's just make it a little bit further away. Right there. Make sure it's a dropper, not a dispenser, because, yeah, dispensers are not gonna, yeah, drop the item. They're just gonna place the Shulker chest, which you definitely don't want. Alright, then we make this flow go into here. You can just copy whatever I'm doing. It's actually pretty simple. Like this. So we have our dropper right here. By the way, I started this block right where we're gonna have, right where the ice ends. That's pretty important. So just make this pattern kind of. And then just place your dropper with the hoppers. And place some more hoppers here, going into the other hoppers. Then we're gonna have our comparators right here. We need some building blocks. That is pretty important. We don't need any more comparators, so let's just remove them. Go like this. I would love to have some switching right now. Let's just use fly, because I'm in creative. Alright, go like this, fill in all the gaps. Use one redstone block here, one redstone block here. Then we're gonna use 3 temporary blocks, which is like this. One on the repeater. Make sure to sneak while you're doing that. And then we're gonna be building 2 observers against those temporary blocks. Then we just use our dispensers. That's gonna dispense the Shulker box, like this. Then let's add in the sticky pistons. You have to add them in from the bottom. That's pretty important. Then one more observer. Just get on the other observers and place them sideways like this. That's gonna push down this observer temporarily. At the end, we don't want that. Now we just make hoppers going into the observer, because that is where the Shulker chest is going to be. And yeah, then we just make this go up, place chests on top. While doing that, just add in the redstone. If you did it like this, it's a mistake, because yeah, now you can see the observers in the bottom. You want the observer to be up. So yeah, just replace the redstone really fast. Or if you just want it to work instantly, place this redstone first and then this redstone, and then it's going to be correct. Let's also quickly make a dropper go into this. Dispenser, going to put the Shulker chest in. That's also pretty important that you have that. And now we just, yeah, build this up so that we can have some storage and have the hoppers where we want them to be. Alright, oh, this actually should go in this. That's how it looks. Make this hopper go into this chest and this into this hopper. That's just, yeah, the easiest way to do it. And yeah, now our bone blocks will be loaded. I like making this loop, just in case you have so many bone blocks that your loaders are not going to be able to keep up with them. I'll be making this loop a little bit. Does not really matter though. You don't necessarily have to do it. Just doing it for the sake of it. Go like this. And make it go. Actually, we want to make it go back here. That's the easiest way. Alright. Then, well, let's rather use ice instead of this. It's actually way easier. Fill in all the gaps. So our water can't escape. That's pretty important. Whoop, whoop. And now we just add in some water. Like this. Just add another sign here. Like this. And that should be good. Nice. Now all the blocks are going to loop around, which you don't necessarily need, but yeah, it doesn't cost anything. If you feel safer with having more loaders, you can always make this longer, add more whole loaders, add some more loaders over here. But like I said, it's just not necessary because crafters are not so, we're not building a huge sea pickle farm. We only gonna have a few bone blocks coming out of here, which is still a lot. But these hoppers on DonutSMP are so fast, you're not gonna have to worry about that. All right. Yeah, now that is basically done. That's where our Shulkers of bones are gonna be coming out. So let's make the clock for that real quick. Yeah, I'll just make the clock right here. Same clock as over there. For some reason my audio died here, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. The clock is gonna spill out your Shulkers of bone blocks optimally, and yeah, later on we're gonna make a water flow going into the storage. Yeah, what I'm building right now is just the space for us to, yeah, just have some space to AFK, where your skeleton spawners are gonna be. I will probably oh yeah, I remember replacing this with solid blocks because it just looks a lot nicer. I always like choosing a color for this. I think I chose light blue just because it looks very cool. And yeah, then I just build the little spawner room. I just fast forward it because there's no reason to show this in low speed. And you don't have to build it exactly like me, by the way. You can just design this however you want. So yeah, enjoy. Alright, now we've built ourselves a nice little room. I'm just gonna put some light there. Not really a reason why you don't need to do it on Donut, because there you can just do a /light vision and you will be seeing enough. But yeah, just adding some light so we can start adding the storages. I'll add 2 storages. One is for the bone blocks and one is for the Shulker chests. And yeah, on the right, the chest that I just placed is for the bone blocks, and on the left is the Shulker chest storage. And yeah, I'll obviously build all these in the tutorial as well, just to make it easier for you if you don't know how to really make it. Because yeah, you have to make the bone blocks that come out at the drop on the bottom go into this one chest, so just so we can have an easier time in the long term. Like the way this spawner stage works is we can operate it from only staying in this room. We never have to leave this room again unless something breaks or something like that. But in an optimal case, yeah, you don't need to leave this room anymore, and you don't use full blocks on top of chests like I just did. That's not gonna work. Just use glass blocks or half slabs, whatever you find that makes you still be able to open chests. And yeah, now I'll just build a small little storage for our bone blocks. It's pretty simple. I think I'll just let it run on ×2. I think you should be able to follow it. So yeah, enjoy that. In this clip I'm explaining if you want to have more storage, you can just expand it up like I'm showing here. Just, yeah, obviously make this a double chest, but yeah, you can just expand this up infinitely basically. But I think 2 rows of double chests should be more than fine, since we're loading shulkers of bone blocks here, so yeah, you won't need that much space, I assume. This should be fine, and then we just add the ice to make the water flow a bit better. And then we just build the water flow. Pretty simple. Alright, now we're gonna have to make the shulkers of bones also go up there. And for that, we're just making a little water elevator right here. Yeah, in the background clip, you can probably see me messing up quite a bit. I'll just fast forward it to show you the end result, because I think, yeah, this is a bit messy. I tried to line it up right here, but I'll just show you the last pattern from the end, which, yeah, I think it's definitely possible to copy that. But like I said, if you ever need any help because you didn't understand something, just let me know and I'll help you out. Just join my Discord. You can ask any questions there in chat 1 or whatever. You can also just ping me if it's like really urgent. And yeah, see you on my Discord, or maybe you'll just figure out. Alright, here you can see the pattern: 2 out, 5 to the side, then 2 blocks of ice out, and then we place our soul sand. And yeah, I'm just filling it up all with glass so the water is gonna flow in the direction we want it to. And then we're gonna build a little bit of a tower around our water elevator that's going up. Obviously you need a sign and also water, so the water's gonna flow. I think that makes a lot of sense. Can't forget that. Sometimes it honestly happens, and some Shulker just lie around there, or just forget the clock or something. Because, I don't know, there are just so many segments to this base that could go wrong in theory. And yeah, here I realized the water flow doesn't work, and we have to go one more out. I'm sorry guys if you already copied that. But yeah, should be an easy fix. Just move the source and one to the back. Also add some ice in there, and you should be good. And I think now we're gonna build a tower going all the way up. Right there. And yeah, just stack up until you're at the storage. And then we're gonna make this flow into the storage. And yeah, just make it loop. You technically don't need to make it loop. You could just make a straight line as a storage, but I like loops. Loops are always the safest way to go. Then yeah, we buy a trapdoor. I assume you're gonna buy it off the auction house for $20,000, which is pretty yeah, you're getting ripped off there. And place our water. Yeah, this does not look nice yet, so I'll just build this part first. We'll just build some blocks to catch like the items going out there. Then add a sign so the water doesn't interrupt with any water on the bottom flow. Then we start making the water flow. I decided to make it from this direction, so it's not gonna be, yeah, there's not gonna be any trouble. And at this point, we just make it loop around. Pretty simple. The way the storage is built is pretty nice because you can always just put signs on the ice blocks, which are like way more than putting signs on the hopper blocks. Because yeah, items move faster on ice, so it's nicer to still have items move faster while the signs are on the block. And yeah, now the water flow is done. So yeah, you should not forget to add your kelp, because we still didn't add kelp here. If you don't add kelp to the blocks, the water elevator is not going to work, because you're not going to have source blocks. So yeah, really make sure you don't forget that. And other than that, this part of the farm should be done. And then all that's going to be missing is our storage for the Shulker blocks. So any item right now that your Shulker loader produces is going to be in that one chest in that blue box, which is pretty nice. Yeah, obviously you have to turn on the clock for when the farm works. That is a test. Bone blocks, my quartz blocks going in there, going to the chests. Technically they would loop, and then they're ending up in this chest. Alright, now we're going to our last storage, which is the last segment of the spawner base. Right here I'm figuring out where I have to place my hoppers, which is actually one below that, so you're gonna need some temporary blocks for that. You can just stand on the glass below you. Yeah, just build them like this, build up some quartz blocks. You can make the storage anywhere where you want it, and you can make it as long as you want it. I'm making it decently long, but only 2 chests high. I think that's my strategy. And yeah, at the edge of your quartz layer, just build one hopper facing down, and then build all the other hoppers facing into the hopper until you are below that chest. That is, yeah, definitely pretty simple so far. The last hopper is a little bit annoying to place because you have to find your way yeah, down there. In creative, it's obviously pretty easy. Then you can break out your temporary blocks, and you want to replace them with hoppers. I'm starting to place the hoppers where the Shulker loader is not in the way. And yeah, on Donut you should probably build some temporary blocks where you can just move a little bit. Otherwise this is going to be really annoying. But yeah, since I'm in creative, I will use my power and just fly around. And like this, all the hoppers will be filled with Shulker boxes. Then we just add in some chests. Honestly, this is just a simple storage. I don't even know why I'm expanding it, but I guess it doesn't hurt to also put it into the tutorial. And yeah, making one layer of chests, obviously making double chests. And after that, I'll be adding another layer right there. Boop, boop, boop. Now the temporary blocks are kind of in the way, but not that big of a deal. Alright, now that all the chests are done, add in the hoppers. And yeah, what's actually pretty important is the input into the Shulker loaders. Because, yeah, we don't just need to store our Shulker chests, we need to use them in our Shulker loaders. So we just do it like this. Just place some hoppers going into the droppers and then place hoppers that collect all items from those chests. You can just do it like this. You can do it however you want to, but yeah, if you really want to, you can just copy what I'm doing exactly. And the storage should be good enough to keep filling up your loaders. Alright, this should be the farm done. Perfect. I'm not sure if I added anything else. As you can see, I added some more protection glass on top, which doesn't really matter. You can all have it in the schematic. Yeah, by the way, if you are too lazy to follow the tutorial, you can also just download the schematic from a Discord. I will put it there. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. I would really appreciate it. Also subscribe if you haven't done that yet, to not miss more tutorials. I will make at least one more tutorial on my Shulker loader that I made, and probably on the fungus farm, something that is like really useful that I haven't seen out there yet. Yeah, what's also good, place the Shulker chest there so the Shulker loader is actually working, but after you place them it should work, unless there are random items in there. If there are some random items in there, just replace the redstone ones and it will work. But yeah, alright, thank you for watching, really hope you enjoyed, and see you on the next one. Bye everyone.